Warframe has been getting a lot of good press recently, what with so many full price games containing microtransactions which take the absolute piss in terms of value and being manipulative. Here though is a free to play game that does it right for the most part. Whilst it's a good game, there are definitely some beefs I have with some of the microtransactions and the core gameplay. Warframe is a looter shooter, and a fucking good one at that. The gameplay is absolutely top draw. If you want to look stylish, well then Warframe is the game for you. The moveset is all based on zipping around like a ninja. Run up a wall, jump off, headshot twat, then cut his mate in half with your massive sword. To say it's really satisfying would be an understatement. It all controls very silkily, though I would go for the PC version. Not only are the updates ahead of the consoles, but a mouse makes this so much more satisfying to play. For me, a controller just feels more clunky and makes it harder to look cool as fuck. At the start of the game, it's easy to look good, but later on in the game, when you do higher level missions, enemies get far too accurate and do far too much damage. There's a movement system here that complements doing silky bullet dodges, but the enemies are so accurate it makes it redundant. There are a lot of mission types in the game, however, some of them, mainly defense missions, feel really difficult to do solo. It's okay with the right Warframe, but with 4 points to control, you capture one and then the enemy takes over the other 3, you go to one of them, they capture the one you were just guarding. So yes, grouping with other players is a very effective way to clear missions, maybe too effective. It seems everyone who wants to play this game is desperate for a shit and the toilet is at the end of every mission. If you're new, it can be quite intimidating. You'll be dashing through missions without taking anything in. There are tons of Warframes to craft and grind for, or just buy if you want, but that kind of defeats the purpose of the game for me. I suppose once you've got a few under your belt and just can't be arsed with the grind of gathering parts and materials, it's there as an option. Each one has its own abilities, appearance, which you can further customise, and playstyle attached to it. I would like to see a try before you buy option on them because it can be difficult to gauge how they're going to play when you read the descriptions. Sure, some of them are obvious, like Rhino, he's a tank, but others may have skills that don't click or builds that just don't appeal. The game has loads of weapons too. Shotguns, rifles, magnums, swords, you name it, it is probably in here. But again, no try before you buy. So when you grind up or pay money for a gun that takes your fancy only to discover that it is shit, well, unlucky pal. I did find the melee weapons overpowered compared to the guns. I can slice high level enemies in half with one hit, but guns take far too long to bring anyone down, even when they're fully modded. Speaking of, you unlock mods to attach to your Warframe and weapons, and the game doesn't explain it very well, and it's intimidating to go to the mod screen and just see this mess with no indication of what to do. Which brings me on to the interface. It's a fucking mess. There's about 5 million things to click on, and then when you go onto that, there's another 500 million things to click on. It could be streamlined a bit. Basically, there's a massive wall of a learning curve to this game, and the game explains about 1/5000th of its gameplay. At the start, the game just says, well, go around like a natural disaster on steroids, but stuff like polarity, that cyst you get on your neck, cephalon fragments, using your ship's weapons, quests, etc. are just left for you on a wiki. And that lack of information extends to the plot as well. I don't even think there is one. It's like the original Destiny. You start and the game just spews gibberish at you. Tenno, the Baelor Fomorians are queef-coring the Grineer with the lost Orokin technology from the War of Tharp 10 million years ago. What does any of this shit mean? Some context would be nice is what I'm saying. I don't even know if the people I'm slicing in half are even evil. I could be the twat here, which I'm totally okay with, by the way. I heard one review say Warframe isn't a game that comes to you, you have to go to it, which is true, but if the game isn't going to meet you halfway and explain some shit, you can't go to it for more, can you? I hate this trend now where arseholes think a game being obtuse means it's deep. There's good YouTube videos and the wiki I mentioned for information, but it shouldn't need it. My personal advice for this game would be to do the main quest line. You get some good gear out of it and it teaches some elements of the game, not very well as making a path for you to unlock all the planets. The only piss-taking microtransaction I could find was buying inventory slots for guns and warframes. In a game where having a big arsenal seems important, it came across as cheeky to me to charge for slots. Yes, you can unlock them by upping your mastery rank, but part of that is based on how many weapons you have, which you can't level up without the inventory slots. It's still slightly shitty, don't defend it saying it's one of the only function items for digital extremes to earn money on. Well, Path of Exile only sells cosmetics and earns enough, so eat shit. Visually, the game looks nice for the most part. The animations all look good on the Warframes. Sometimes enemies can look very stiff, but the environments are, well, very mixed. Some planets in this game have undergone an overhaul and some haven't, and you can really tell. But even then, you can barely tell the difference between some planets because all the missions take place in gunmetal grey facilities. It could really do with more environment variety that makes use of the movement system. It's getting there with the open world areas on Earth and Venus, but my god does it make it boring sometimes. In the end, I do think Warframe is a very good game. There's so much content to the point where it can be overwhelming. If I went into everything, this video would be 10 years long, but I don't like doing that. I get into the meat of the game and tell you if it's good or not without wasting half an hour of your life. You're so welcome. If you're prepared to put the time and research in, it's really rewarding, unlike most free-to-play games where you pay loads of money so you don't have to play it because it's a shit grind.
Breaking the law, breaking the